Taiko of Sugaru. The Taiko of Sugaru can kill anyone who is hiding something from the bearer of the curse echo, which is this stone-looking thing. The way the victim dies is being pummeled by 1,000,000 strikes until they eventually succumb to their injuries. This curse was given to Ayame Tono, as she was one of the chosen few that were given a curse echo. You see, on the night that Paranormasight takes place, several people were given the 7 curses of Honjo, with the promise that getting enough kills with the curse would allow a resurrection of a loved one. All of the selected curse bearers had someone near to them that had died, who they would do anything to see once more. So who did Ayame want to resurrect? Maybe a lost lover, a family member? She wanted to resurrect this old guy. You probably don't know who he is, but you definitely know this painting. Yeah, she was willing to kill several other people who were as desperate as her for resurrection for this old artist because she really liked his paintings. The story behind this curse requires some background knowledge. Back in the day, there used to be tall towers that stood as lookouts for fires. When spotted, a designated fireman would use the wooden clackers atop the tower to alert everyone in the area that there was a fire. For some reason, though, the tower in Sugaru seemed to use drums instead of wooden clackers. And for some reason, the drums seemed to beat throughout the night with no fire in sight. Then one day, the body of an old man was found, beaten and bruised, almost like a drum. Evergreen Beach. The Evergreen Beach can kill anyone who attempts to mislead the curse bearer. The way that the victim dies is by being hanged. Essentially, this stone acts as a lie detector, capable of sussing out the truth from anybody. Fortunately, it was granted to a detective named Tetsuo Tsutsumi, who can use it alongside his skills as a detective. He mainly uses his curse echo as a way of getting the other curse echoes, such that further killings don't occur. The Evergreen Beach itself, though, was a beautiful tree that resided in the garden of an old feudal lord. Somehow, through its entire time there, not a single leaf was ever witnessed falling from the branches, and it became known as the eternally green tree. That being said, this particular species of trees are known not to shed leaves, so the strangest part of this legend is that it was a legend at all. Then one day, a local was found hanging from the tree with his neck struck horrifically, and for the longest time, alongside the leaves of the tree, the body never fell down from the branches. Fool's Procession. The Fool's Procession will kill anyone that hears this music for 30 seconds. These 30 seconds have to be continuous and uninterrupted, and if the victim sees the curse bearer, then it will not work. However, for those unfortunate enough not to notice the curse bearer, they'll be cursed to a fatal fall to their death. This curse was given to Yako Sakazaki, a local high school student. Yako's close friend Michio had recently been found dead in an alley, with her entire body being broken. The cops saw the scene, and as real cops do, ruled it a suicide. Yako strongly disbelieved this, as she was closer to her than anyone in the world, and wants more than anything to ask Michio what actually happened. The story of the Fool's Procession is actually very similar to Michio's story. Omiyo was a member of a traveling troupe, and she more than anything wanted to make something of herself. She finally got that chance in the form of a performance in a tall festival tower, where she had the stage all to herself. She wore a beautiful kimono and an okame mask, and danced in front of the applauding crowd until she could dance no more. After dancing her way out of breath, she paused to take her mask off to get some air. But she was only met with resistance and the pungent smell of glue. She screamed and thrashed around to pry the mask from her face and get some help, but she was only drowned out by the festival music and only seemed like she was dancing more for the lively crowd. Eventually, she found her way to the edge of the tall tower, where she fell to her death. One-sided reed. The one-sided reed is essentially the death note, where if you know the face, address, name, age, occupation, and location of someone, you can activate the curse to instantly dismember them. This curse was given to the worst person imaginable, a Redditor. This Redditor also happens to be a serial killer. The Venn diagram proves true yet again. Anyways, you can imagine what a serial killer would do with an unlimited anonymous kill button. He kills. The story of this one is your classic love story. There once was a man named Tomezo who fell for a woman named Okoma. He did everything he could do to win her over, but she rejected his advances every single time. Obviously, Tomezo did the only reasonable thing he could think to do, and killed her on Ryogoku Bridge. He then dismembered one of her arm and leg and tossed them into the canal beneath, and ever since then, the reeds alongside the canal have only sprouted on one side. Ever-burning lantern. The ever-burning lantern enshrouds the target in a world of darkness. If they can't find their way out or have some way of illuminating the area, they die through means of disembowelment. This curse was given to a historian and museum curator named Hideki Araishi. He's also a teacher, but he's more akin to that college professor that has no right teaching at all and only wants to do his research. And his research in this case is the occult. He has been obsessed with the 7 curses and the prospects of resurrecting a human for a while. So you have to ask, if given the opportunity to kill with a curse stone, how far would he let his curiosity drive him in the name of research? The story behind the ever-burning lantern originates from a soba cart along the canal of the city. No matter what time of day or season, though, one will never find its owner. Despite that, a lantern that hangs from the cart seems to be perpetually lit, despite any observable fuel source. Separately, a man had slain a woman in rage near the canal. Near the quietly glowing lantern, he was so filled with guilt at the sin that he had committed that he sliced his own belly open. Ever since then, the lantern would occasionally flicker even in the calmest of nights, and rumors grew of the ghost of the man still clinging to life. Whispering Canals. The Whispering Canals kills those who leave the user behind by filling up their lungs with water and causing them to drown on land. This curse was given to our main character Shogo Ukie, who wishes to resurrect a girl he met 2 weeks ago. You see, Shogo met this girl at the park and, like the simp he is, he agrees to meet up a week later at the same place in the dead of the night to go hunting for some curses. Unfortunately, this girl suddenly dies due to what looks like to be a curse, which would look really bad if he got caught there and then. Fortunately, he gets the curse stone, and then you, and him, must then gather enough kills to resurrect her. The story behind the Whispering Canals, unsurprisingly, also originates from the various canals running through Honjo. It is said from fishermen that a terrifying voice would originate from the canal, whispering, "Leave it behind." And for those who ignore the voice and stay with their catches, they would then be dragged into the canal, never to return. Interestingly enough, though, there had been an unfortunate incident of a girl whose mother was slain and whose father was hanged for his crimes. She was walking near the canal one day and slipped in, with her sounds of struggle being mistaken by passersby for the fish splashing about. Eventually, the only sound that remained was quiet whisperings. Haunting Clappers. The haunting clappers work by immolating targets that have any fire-starting device on them, most likely a lighter or a match. It also works on those who are in possession of fire itself, the meaning of which I do not know, to be quite honest. The haunting clappers was granted to Hiroi Shigima, a mother whose child had been killed earlier that year. The murder had occurred due to the negligence of the police in a kidnapping hostage situation, and the aggrieved mother lost her only purpose and joy in life. Despite hiring a top-notch detective to uncover the culprit, she knows that she won't be able to get her son back. But when she receives the curse stone and learns of the possibility of resurrection, she is suddenly given a new goal in life, and she'll do whatever it takes to achieve it. Smoldering remains litter what used to be a tall standing house, and passers-by gawk at a charred corpse at the center of it all. The house had been in a raging inferno the whole night, but rescuers thought that there was no one left inside and opted to let the fire burn itself out. They testified that they heard no screaming nor pleas for help, and only the sounds of clacks that they thought to be from the collapsing house. When what was left of the body was examined, they had found a pair of clappers that it had been covered, which the rescuers can horrifyingly recognize. Now on to the 8th mystery, and... Isn't the game called The 7 Mysteries of Honjo? What do you mean about the 8th mystery? Well, as folktales often do as they're passed through the elderly to the youth, the actual full tale got twisted throughout the years. And there were actually more than 10 mysteries, most of them being lost to time. Foot-washing mansion. The foot-washing mansion will stomp to death any target which hears the command, wash. It is essentially just a better version of the Fool's Procession, which required 30 seconds of continual listening rather than a single word. This curse was given to Yutaro Namigaki, who wanted to resurrect a girl he had accidentally run over with his car. He had hidden the body and torched the car involved in the manslaughter, and despite essentially getting away with murder, with the death being ruled a suicide, he had been racked with guilt ever since, with the girl frequently appearing in his nightmares. When he obtained the curse echo, he essentially saw it as the only way of freeing himself from his existing curse plaguing him. The story behind the foot-washing mansion is perhaps the most bizarre of them all, and occurred at a local residence in the dead of the night. All of a sudden, a giant foot drenched in blood smashed through the roof, with a voice seemingly originating from it commanding, "Wash!" The house owner told his servants to do so, and after they carefully washed the foot, it returned to where it came from, fixing the roof as it left. Beckoning Light. The Beckoning Light uses the curse of an enemy against them, with the same conditions needing to be fulfilled beforehand. Due to this restriction, this curse can only be used on the other curse bearers. The Beckoning Light was given to Meiyu Chozawa, a barber whose husband was recently found murdered in a local park. She had been investigating the murder herself before she was abducted and left in an abandoned factory basement, where she later obtained the curse echo. The story behind the beckoning light originates from a strange phenomenon reported by locals in Honji, where if you walk along the road at nighttime, you may encounter a light with seemingly no source. If you get close to it, it'll snuff itself out. And just when you think that the darkness has swallowed you, another light will appear further along the road, beckoning you towards it. Some say it is a benevolent light, leading you home, while others say it is the last remains of a vengeful spirit, luring the living into the land of the dead. And those were the 9 mysteries of Honjo. This game is really good and you should play. Even though I essentially spoiled all of it, I intentionally left out a lot about the mysteries and characters, with the intent of revealing just enough that the full game would entice you further. Also, the whole concept of the game really lends itself to sequels, with the first game itself leaving a lot of loose threads that can be followed, so that's definitely something to look forward to. You can definitely look forward to the video on that if it does end up happening, but hopefully I'll be able to come up with something more original that hasn't been overdone to death.